Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back to Football Inc. We hope you're all happy and healthy, doing the things you love. First and foremost, apologies, no content the last 4 days or 5 days, I think it is. I've been bedridden. I haven't done any content anywhere. I've got about 100 things wrong with me, but Johnny's been very patient. He's also going through the ringer with his own issues as well. But we're back today, and hopefully we're back now for good. Just so we're trying to get to the tail end of the various bugs and things that are going on. Well, I hope you're all happy, though. Are you happy, though? Are you happy? If you're a Tottenham fan, are you happy? Are you patient? Are you somewhere in between? I'll be entirely honest, Johnny. I haven't. You know what? First, let me finish the admin first. Guys, please do us a favor. Smash the like button like you always do. Hit the subscribe like you haven't already. Hit the notification bell and drop a comment or two. And hopefully some nice ones, not the ones we come walking into from Darren, for example. We'll come to that in a second. But guys, yeah, and also if you are interested in listening to this stuff after the fact and you'd rather do it when you're out walking the wife, then you can check us out on Spotify, where you can watch the show, on Amazon, Apple Pods, all that stuff, where you can hear it. The links are in the description, but just search for Football Inc. and we should be the channel that pops up. Give us a follow and a 5-star review if you don't mind. Johnny, how are you, mate? How are you?
I'm okay. Listen, you know, it's been a tough couple of days as a Spurs fan. If you're a Man United fan, you're like almost on seventh heaven after beating Liverpool. He's hammering back on the road. I think, you know, they're just sort of this perspective now. You know, you had Ange being sacked after 39 days, 10 of which were, you know, international break. You had a clamouring for Amarin to be sacked, and then, you know, you had the owner to come around and said he's got to be given a couple of years, which was refreshing to hear. And maybe staying with him might be the thing to do, as could be seen from that the result against Liverpool. And then you have the blowout last night from Spurs. Very, very poor performance against Monaco, to which, believe it or not, Sean, there's been a clamouring today for Frank out. He's clueless. He has no idea what he's doing. Ange left him a winning team that actually lost 22 games and finished 17th in the league.
It was a winning team, though. Let's be honest. It was a winning team. You know, we did win something. You know?
We won something. Yeah, we won something.
Yeah.
I suppose.
So, Johnny, to be entirely honest, mate, like I have been literally asleep for since basically Sunday, since Monday, right? So I woke up I got out of bed. Bugsy hasn't had any walks from me. Other people have been I've had complete, absolute blackout from the Tottenham zeitgeist since after the Sunday game against Villa. I left the stadium a little bit early because I was that bored of what I was watching. As soon as we went 2-1 down, I waited around a little bit longer, and I was like, you know what, I can't be dealing with this. And obviously, and then I went home and something's happening in my house. And then I went home and then didn't really go dial into anything until last night. I watched the game, but as soon as the game was done, I was lights out again. And then I woke up this morning and I see in our WhatsApp group for the Spurs 5, you and Saba having a chat about the name of the thumbnail, or how should we title the thumbnail? And you said, let's go for a controversial one like Frank in. And my first reaction was like, sorry, what? How's that controversial? And then you both were like, have you not seen what's been going on? I hadn't, right? But obviously I've subsequently gone and educated myself. I'm not surprised, mate. I mean, I'm not surprised, not because I think it's the right thing to do. I'm just not surprised by the fans at Tottenham Hotspur. But I think it's the same everywhere. I think that there's irrational and slightly bonkers takes that can easily just catch a little, like an ember can catch fire when people are a little bit frustrated, and then agendas are going to come out of the woodwork. Yeah. And that's what we're seeing right now.
Look, I'm not going to sit here and say it was good, because it wasn't, But equally, I'm going to sit here and say that Aston Villa on the weekend absolutely trounced us when they didn't. They didn't do anything other than have 2 shots on goal from 20, 25 yards out, and both of them went in the net. Don't think he made a save, Vicario, whereas on last night, he made 8, 9 saves. But then let's have some context in that. Monaco are shit was the narrative. Meanwhile, Monaco hadn't been beaten at home since February in a playoff game, in the Champions League playoff game against Benfica, where they lost 1-0. Okay. They've only lost one game against the British club since 1961 at home, and that was Arsenal. You know, they've beaten Liverpool, they've beaten Chelsea. You know, yes, that's historic, but we're dealing with the facts here, right?
Yeah, it's not an easy place to play. But I'm not really sure why it's not an easy place to play, because it's not like some of the other places in France that you go to. I've been to Marseille. That's terrifying. Like it's actually a scary environment. I haven't been to PSG, to the Parc des Princes, but I know people that have, and they say, you know, obviously they have the team there that can put you under the ringer, but they also have a pretty intimidating environment. Is it at the Parc des Princes? I'm not sure where. Yeah, I think it is, right. But Monaco's like a lovely part of the world, isn't it? It's like there's no trouble there. It's a nice.
It's like
a library as well. So I don't really understand why it is that their form there is so good against English teams, but it's undeniably very strong, and they played very, very, very. That second half was just unbelievable from them. Some of the football, like it was and the players that were put in. I mean, apart from Akliouche, very good player. But Ansu Fati, we saw at Brighton, right? He wasn't exactly, he didn't light up anything at Brighton.
Balogun's not a bad player.
Not a bad player. Strong and physical number 9.
Minamino, he should have buried one of those.
He had 3 chances. He had a hat-trick of chances. Balogun had a hat-trick of chances in the first half. Akliouche had 2 or 3. If it wasn't for their poor finishing and for Vicario's unbelievable performance,
he's best in a Spurs shirt, I would say.
Oh, 100%. But it could have been 6-0.
Yeah.
It could have been 6 or 7-0, couldn't it?
We've not had that many. Spurs haven't had that many shots against them since we lost 7-2 to Bayern Munich at Wembley all those years ago under Pochettino. But let's be honest, Sean. Let's be honest. Okay, there is no class. If you took away Kudus out of that front line there's nothing there which says, wow, nothing at all. There's nothing, to strike fear into any strikefuls. I don't think they're even I don't know if there's any. Are there any there which will be top 8? Would run into a top 8 team if you took Kudus out? I don't think so.
What, in the team that played, or in our squad generally?
Well, in the team that's the attacking options that are available as well.
And that's the thing, though, right? So look, we obviously need a lot of work. We obviously need a better striker that can do something different than what Richarlison can. Matisse Tell, he doesn't look like he's. I will always back a player. I know that I've been wrong on him, and it's difficult to sort of to keep doubling down and saying no, he will make it. I think he will become a good player somewhere at some point, but I don't necessarily think he fits our system. And I think this is one of the things I want to bring up with you as we go through the game, Jonny. Is it time to pivot to a different model of something like a 4-2-2-2? After the Villa game, I walked out. I was talking to people in the South Stand exit area, and I was like, we've got to try something different, because we're continuing with this 4-2-3-1 thing when we don't really have a left winger that's terrifying. Although I thought Odegaard yesterday had his best performance by a long stretch. I thought he looks like he's developing as a player. But we haven't got a striker, a 9 that can do it. And so I feel like maybe you could go to like a 4-2-2-2, which is a style that Villa play quite comfortably. It's a little bit different, a little bit more narrow, but you have the freedom and the dynamism to allow players to float. I mean, you look at the system that Monaco played, mate, and despite us having a double pivot, 2 defensive midfielders, if you like, the amount of space that Monaco had in their double 10, it was like we were playing, I don't know, like something else, like a 4-2-4 or something. And I was sitting there kind of going, where are our defensive midfielders? And I didn't even think that Polinia had a bad game. I thought Polinia had a good game.
He didn't
have a good game. We were just overrun time and time again by a clever setup and a team that took advantage of the fact that they knew that Tottenham weren't really that potent going forward.
And also, what's worrying me is that Kudus looked tired.
Kudus did look tired. He looked really tired, yeah.
And
we've got like 6 more games in the next 3 weeks to play with him, haven't we?
And look, I would sit there and I would say Thomas Frank is really struggling. If I could see him with a left winger, Look, we know we need a top striker. The one thing I would say is a positive when Kolo Muani came on.
Yeah, I thought he looked right.
Even his body shape and the way he was holding on to the ball, even though you can see he's nowhere near 100% fit, because a Kolo Muani normally take that on his chest, you turn and he's gone, right? Yeah. But you can definitely see signs that he's able to hold the ball up and bring others into play, which is really important. But it's a drop. Archie Gray did well, Odegaard did well in that first half, but there's small measures. But unfortunately, Sean, there's just not enough top players in that squad. Is that Thomas Frank's fault? I don't know. I mean, what we talk about playing three at the back, right? And I can understand the call for that. But do we actually have the squad right now to play three at the back, right? Especially with Romero, with Romero out. I just don't see how you can possibly do that. I really don't.
Also, to be honest, mate, I'm also getting sick to death. The one thing I am getting a little bit tired of from Thomas Frank is hearing that these injuries are nothing major, that they're insignificant injuries, and that we're not sure how long yet, but it won't be long. We heard that 3 months ago about Dominic Solanke, and he's still nowhere near.
The thing is, what's quite funny, Sean. It's like with the fan base. I suppose it's all fan bases, if he was complaining about his injuries, he's using the injuries as an excuse. If he's playing Bentancur and he's playing Paulinho, he needs to play Bergvall. He plays Bergvall shit. He played Papassar. He played Papassar. Papassar was terrible when he came on. He should have played this one. And this is what, there tends to be a consistent narrative. If you're calling for it and it happens and it doesn't work, I mean, now they're calling for Brennan Johnson, right, to start up front. And I said right at the beginning of the season, Thomas Frank might have tried to sign Brennan Johnson for Brentford. But he would have been playing a different type of system. He would have been playing counter-attacking football, balls over the top with pace. He's never
and one game a week, and
exactly.
Of a standard with expectations are different.
And he's never going to play for Spurs unless he takes his man on. And if he doesn't take his man on, you're not going to see him playing. And he isn't, and he hasn't, and he got one chance. He came on, he had one chance, one moment to do what Brennan Johnson does. One moment in 90 minutes, but he only had a few, and he fluffed his lines. But look, can't make excuses.
I think it was a good block, to be honest. If you actually saw I don't know if you saw the angle from behind, from where he hit it. I think it looked like it was going into the corner, but it was blocked by that Taraz, was it? I think his name was Taraz. Good player.
I think Matt Barden's has hit it very much on the head, where he says, Tottenham lack variation of profiles in the midfield. Too many similar players. I think we've had this conversation before. There is no. I mean, when you look at Akalush last night, I mean, he was drifting in from outside, coming inside, little chips over the top, the lovely through balls, putting balls in for Balogun and Ansu Fati and for himself, and. He deserved to at least had a goal or at least a couple of assists for some of his play. We don't really have a player like that because I said to you before, I don't believe Xavi Simons is an out-and-out 10. Never have. I think he's more of a hybrid 8-10, to be honest. I've never thought he's a 10-10, like the ball, chipping balls over the top and doing, what we see Maddison and other top 10s do. But
also, I think that when you get if obviously we're not going to see Maddison for the rest of the season, but there is a world where you could, in that 4-2-2-2, you could have like a Maddison and a Xavi playing together in just in that sort of top thing. And I think that maybe what you could also have then, well, just quickly, not to get off the topic, I know we're going to do a roundup of the other games towards the end of the stream, but did you see the Real Madrid Juve game last night? Have you seen the highlights of it at all?
I have, as one of the few games, I saw so many of them. I've watched highlights of most of the games over the weekend. It was 1-0, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. But I just wanted to quickly mention, Dusan Vlahovic had a breakaway. Real Madrid were pushing, and Juve won the ball back and then launched the ball up to Vlahovic. And he was up against Militao. Militao, the Real Madrid centre-back. And Militao's not sluggish, not slow at all. And Vlahovic won the ball, kicked it forward on the halfway line, and there was a 50-yard sprint between him and Militao. And I've always said Vlahovic doesn't have the pace for the Premier League. Right? I think we all thought that. We all think that. I don't know what he had, how many bananas he must have eaten before that game, because, mate,
3 Weetabix.
He had his Weetabix before that moment, because, like, he's a big, strong, strapping guy to have won the ball against Militao, who's a baller. And he out-sprinted him and out-shoulder barged him the whole way, and then put in it was saved in the end. It wasn't the greatest finish, but just seeing that little glimpse, I'm sitting there thinking, if he's still surplus to requirements at Juve, maybe he does. Maybe he does have it in. Maybe he does have the physicality and the athleticism to be able to handle it. Not that you don't need to see it in that style all the time, but just seeing him in top speed, I was really impressed. But my point being about that 4-2-2-2 thing for Tottenham is that if you were to have a double pivot behind, like sort of two double pivots, two of the kind of defensive midfielder side, and then two that can float in the kind of 10, the creative role, then you could have someone, if you had a forward that can knock the ball down, can win the ball flick-ons and things, then there might be a place for someone like a Brennan Johnson in that two-man top. You couldn't have Brennan Johnson as a 9 on his own. He's not capable of doing that. I don't think you can have him as a right winger or a left winger, because you can't take a man on. And then, like I said before, we all know this, all you ever get from him is back post, and that's a proxy of the fact that no one considers him a threat. So he tracks in unmeasured. But in a two-man up top, if you had someone that could win the ball and knock it down for him, he could be the guy that could get the flick-ons, like the Owen Heskey type of thing back in the day.
So I'll ask you a question. Does Sade, Wissa and Mbuemo and Damsgaard all get into Spurs team?
At the moment?
Yeah.
Well, look, I mean, our front four.
They've all better.
Well, I mean, listen, I love Kudus, man. I think Kudus is fantastic.
But I'm not talking about Kudus. I'm taking Kudus out of that. I'm just saying all of those players add a dimension to our game that Spurs are drastically missing right now. We are a blunt instrument, and I don't know what Thomas Frank is meant to do with it. I really don't. I mean, he's
got to figure it out, mate, right? Because he's supposed to be the guy that can, that's the professor or whatever, right?
If you've got to build a beautiful house and you've got the basement and you haven't got any of the pieces, what are you going to do? You've got to fabricate.
But Xavi Simons, like, we're going from feast to famine here, or the other way around. Like, Xavi Simons is a top player. He just hasn't acclimated very well yet. He hasn't got on the same wavelength as anybody. He's making bad decisions. And I think the look on his face a lot, when the camera pans to him at times, he doesn't look like he's particularly...
Sean, why was he blowing? Like, he'd been on for like 10 minutes and the camera panned to him. I know the expression you're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a moment in time where Spurs were breaking on the counter, and instead of passing the ball, carrying the ball and passing it out to the right, he checks back and makes a terrible pass, and we lose possession. There wasn't anything that he did that has signified Xavi Simons. But then you look at someone like Florian Wirtz, who incredibly somehow managed to turn it on last night. Maybe because he was playing German opposition. Maybe Liverpool need to play German.
Back in Germany, he feels at home. Yeah. Listen, I don't know, but look, what I would say, mate, we'll probably have more of an in-depth one about. I'll bring this comment up on Spurs 5 later on. But like, if we're sitting there saying that this squad isn't fit for purpose, and what more can we do? This squad is 4 better players than what Ange Postecoglou had. Is it not?
Is it a better squad, did you say?
Yeah.
Well,
it is a better squad. I know we've got a few more injuries, but we had injuries a lot of the time under Ange. But I'm not sitting here invoking that we bring back Ange.
Hang on a second, right?
We have to sort of hold the same energy.
But no, we don't have Maddison, which is a glaring miss, and we don't have Solanke, which is a glaring. Just those two alone. I'm not even going to include Kudus or any of the others, but there's just those two alone would give us a completely different dimension. Completely. Completely, just those two players.
We're saying that part of the issue here is the injuries, right?
No, I'm saying right. Okay, he's had one transfer window, and what he's got in front of him isn't fit for purpose, as far as I can see. I just don't think it's fit for purpose right now. What he's got left to work with. I mean, last night on the bench, you had Callum Uluwesi, who played 90 minutes for the academy, yet he's on the bench, and 16-year-old Janai Byfield, right?
Yeah, but you have to remember, though, that like, the benches for the Champions League squad are like, there's like 15 players.
I understand that. I understand that.
He was never going to play, was he? Let's be honest. You know?
Yeah, I know. But if you look at the bench, there's no, when you've got a lot of these players back, those two aren't getting anywhere near the bench, is what I'm saying to you.
Of course. Yeah.
Look, we know we need a left winger. We all know we need a striker. And those same people who are calling for Thomas Frank to be given the boot are the same people that said when the transfer window was closed, we're going to struggle because we should have bought a mobile striker and we should have bought a left winger. Yet now they're saying you can't use that as an excuse. Well, I mean,
but there's an element of the fan base, mate, that just love to moan.
Yeah.
And it's not just the fan base.
Misery loves misery. Yeah.
Of course. And misery loves company, right? But it's the same with content creators, man. I've said this 1,000 times. There's people out there that have worked out, they figured out a long time ago, even if they support the most successful teams in the country, if you lean into I have standards and therefore anything other than winning every single game 4-0 is unacceptable, then you're going to be right more often than you're going to be wrong, because the most successful teams fail more often than they succeed if the line in the sand around success and failure is a trophy. And so even like the Arsenal content creators, the Arsenal fans, some of them, but it happens in Liverpool, it happens at United, it happens at City. There's a certain type of people, and people gravitate towards it, that they would rather be right, and then figuring out what right looks like, well, it generally leans negative. And so that is, it's just the way that the world works, Johnny. The other thing you have to remember, mate, I said this also 1,000 times, is like you and I get on like a house on fire. But if it wasn't for Tottenham Hotspur, I would never have met you. And every single person that's in the chat watching this, I would never know any of them. And I don't know where they're from. I don't know how old they could be, 18 or 80. They could be in Tenerife or Timbuktu. They could worship one God, many gods, no God at all. They could be gay, straight, or anything else in between. There's no underlying commonality apart from one thing, which is the support of a football club. Most of the time, the people that you hang around with, you're going to either have grown up together, you're going to have similar sorts of values, right? So why try and understand a fan base when essentially it's a melting pot of every fucking type of person you could possibly imagine?
It's a smorgasbord.
It's more of psychology, isn't it?
I mean, listen, when you talk about Arsenal, I remember Arsenal Fan TV, AFTV going into meltdown when Mikel Arteta started with his first 13 games. His stats were 1-5, lost 4, drawn 4.
Oh, yeah, I'll bring that up. Hang on.
Yeah, 14 and 13. Have you got my tweet there?
I'm going to bring it up now. Hang on. Here we go. It's a very good barometer, I think. I
mean, why haven't you? So what got levelled at me? Why haven't you included Ange? Because we're talking about managers that started poorly. Okay. So there you go. If you zoom in there.
Is it on the screen?
One of those losses was penalties. One of Thomas Frank's first one was he lost one on penalties to PSG. So that's for context. Pochettino, I mean, there was rumours that Pochettino getting the sack before a deflected Kane goal. Look at Mikel Arteta. Look at Iriola, who most fans said that they would want. It didn't win a single game in his first 10.
Yeah.
His goals for and goals against. And Oliver Glasner wins his first and then didn't win for 5 more in a row. Look at Alex Ferguson on the verge of getting the sack. Look at Amorim, right? He could have been sacked easily. Amorim could have been sacked weeks ago, but they've kept faith. Maybe he's turned the corner, maybe he hasn't. But
I don't know, mate. I think we did this on the prediction show. I think either you, me, or Blaine, one of us had a situation.
I said.
Did you predict the United win? Was it someone predicted?
I said maybe somehow or other with Chelsea, with all the injuries that they've got in the middle of the park, maybe somehow Ange could actually win
a game. The Ange one you went for, yeah. But United always seem to raise themselves or try their best. It's their, it's more like the Liverpool game is more important than most.
Got here, Arteta is a mental monster. Arsenal have depth, balance of play. They do, Jordan. But when he first started, he had a load of characters. He had Deadwood that he had to plead with the board to get rid of. I mean, do you remember some of the players that he had, Sean? Arsenal, Arteta.
When he first came in.
Yeah, they played.
Was it? And
tons of them, troublemakers that he had to get rid of. That he had to.
Agbon, not Agbon. What was the guy's name? The striker that they cut. They just cut him.
No, not Adebayor. What's his name? Yeah, there was a whole host of them. There was the Turkish boy as well. There was a whole load of them, right, that really weren't up for the races, getting paid huge sums of money, but weren't really up for the races. And he needed
Aubameyang, that was it. Aubameyang, yeah,
Aubameyang. There was a whole host of them, and it took him time.
He hasn't won anything, though, has he? Let's be honest.
No, he still hasn't won anything.
He probably will win something this year. It looks like. But he's had a hell of a lot of money and a hell of a lot of patience. But you know what, mate? There's Arsenal fans amongst that fan base, and there's Arsenal content creators who the entire time have been completely, despite seeing unbelievable progress, despite seeing how close they got, despite seeing 5 years of like almost there, despite all of the things, they've been against that guy from the get-go. Not because he's necessarily deserved it, but because it's an easy take to predict failure when failure is the most likely outcome. It's very easy to predict the losing lottery numbers. And so people you got to question the motivations of why people think what they think. When it comes to Thomas Frank, I would imagine that those people that are Thomas Frank out today, the vast majority of them didn't want him in the first place. They wanted Ange to stay.
Correct.
Okay? So they're leaning into that because they would rather, either they don't care about being right, but they just miss their guy, or because that they want to be right. But the other people that maybe weren't Ange, maybe they were okay with a new manager, but they didn't particularly want Thomas Frank. And I think I think Dave, Irish Hotspur, is someone, he didn't want Ange to stay, but he didn't exactly want Thomas Frank either. And he's unimpressed with the football. He's unimpressed. He's not seeing the development. He's not seeing the patterns of play that get him to a point where he can see progress and momentum and kind of an amplification of whatever it is we're trying to do. So, and like, I think Dave's incredibly balanced with his thoughts. I don't think he was coming at it from I never wanted Thomas Frank, therefore I'm calling it out now. I just think he's sitting there going, okay, I'll see. But thus far, he's not Thomas Frank out, by the way, but he's certainly questioning why it is that we're not being able to play better football. And I think that the better football thing, I'll be honest, Johnny, like you and I go to every home game. I know you go to a lot of away games as well, more than I do. Like I'm literally thinking about like putting my tickets up on because it's such a long slog to get to the games. To see what I've been seeing this season hasn't been enjoyable.
Tell me something, Sean. Do you believe with the squad that is there, that he's got available, not the full squad when it's fit, do you think right now that where we are, we're punching above what we've got?
Yeah.
No, I'm just asking because I didn't expect us to be sixth, 2 points off as second, right? After 8 games.
We could have been second had we beaten Villa. And I didn't think, like, I genuinely, like, the two things can be true at the same time. You can be wildly unimpressed with the football that was on offer in that game, which I was. I was like, this is boring as hell. But I thought it was an even game, and I thought that the game could have gone either way. And I think that they've just got players that are more like I think we're a little bit gun shy at the top end of the pitch. It's not just about lack of creativity. It's also a lot of people, when they get in positions to shoot, they don't want to take shots for whatever reason. They're like almost abdicating the responsibility. Odegaard gets in good positions, and then he's handing it over to somebody else. Xavi Simons looks like he's questioning himself whether to shoot or not. And when he finally gets the motivation to shoot, he shoots from 25, 28 yards and it blazes over, which then reminds him next time to think again about it. On the right-hand side, Mohamed Kudus, as good as he is at like drawing corners, I'll be honest. Like, he takes a player on, but he's becoming a little bit predictable in that every single time he gets the ball, he's going to cut. Most of the time, he's going to cut to the byline, get a bit of space, and then work a corner, which is fine. But you do need your right winger to be able to contribute other things as well. By the way, he's the least of my worries. I'm not calling him out. I'm just saying there's not.
How many of these players have we had a full fit in the current setup would be playing, do you think?
In an ideal world.
So Richarlison wouldn't play, Tell wouldn't play.
Solanke would be the 9. In a fully fit squad, I would imagine Solanke would be the 9. Kudus would be on the right. On the left.
Maybe Moani, maybe
Moani, maybe Xavi Simons would be shoehorned back out there, and then maybe you'd have James Maddison or Decky or something in the 10. Yeah, in an ideal world, I don't listen. Bentancur, we don't talk enough about Bentancur. I know that there's Bentancur and Palhinha thing. By the way, I can't. What I hate more than anything else, and I started my passionate hatred for this started a long time ago, Johnny, when people used to pigeonhole Ben Davies and Eric Dyer into the same conversation. Right? If you had a problem with Eric Dyer, it was players like Davies and Dyer need to go. When Dyer was going through his crisis of confidence at Tottenham in the Conte era, and he was making mistake after mistake after mistake, people were saying Davies and Dyer need to go. And I was like, but Davies, why are we pigeonholing them? And now we're pigeonholing Palhinha and Bentancur into the same conversation. And we also pigeonhole Tell and Odegaard into the same conversation. Why can't we just separate them out? Like, Tell hasn't been good enough. Odegaard's definitely improving. Bentancur, for me, is a problem. But it's not a problem just with Palhinha. He's a problem. I think he slows the game down. I think his passing is his best attribute, but it's been wildly poor this season. And I think that Ben Davies, well, I mean, that one's sort of done. The Ben Davies and Eric Dyer thing's irrelevant now. But I don't like the way that we pigeonhole people into these buckets and say that if it's not working, the whole thing isn't working.
Interesting though, against Villa, I was looking at fantasy football, and he had 12 interceptions or 12 blocks against Aston Villa. So he did do a lot. Bentancur.
Oh yeah, I thought Bentancur defensively. Bentancur has been doing okay, but it's just.
Well, I mean, look. The only point I'm trying to make here is that we know that with the players that are missing now, most of the players at the front, barring Kudus, I would say, and wouldn't be playing, right? And the other thing, what we definitely miss is, I know a lot of people don't agree with this. Cuti Romero, when Cuti puts his foot on the ball, tries to draw teams out, to draw defenders out, to ping a ball to Odegaard or to Kudus. It's a vast part. It's a big part of the way we play football. And there's no one there, Danso nor Mickey van der Ven, are capable of doing that. Odegaard wasn't playing, so we had no outlet on that left-hand side. In fact, it was interesting that Glenn Hoddle, never one to pay a compliment, was saying as well as Odegaard's playing, Archie Gray was constantly making overlapping runs on that left-hand side, and Odegaard never fed him the ball. So, listen, look, it wasn't perfect. He's far from perfect. It hasn't been pretty. It's been a tough watch. But if you're grinding out some results, whether it's luck or whatever, until you get players back, till you get a striker back, look, Tell and Richarlison can't hold up anything, right? The ball's bouncing all over them, right? That's a fundamental part of the game. Even if we have a three-quarters fit Solanke that's holding the ball up and bringing others into play, it gives us a different dimension. Even just that one player brings something out. And I will judge Frank based on, when he has half a bloody squad, half a team, should I say, that can influence in the final third.
Do you know what? I'm with you. Like, I'm not in any way panic stations.
Yeah.
Like, we're undefeated in 3 in the Champions League, having played 2 away games, 2 tough away games as well. No problem. We are undefeated away from home in the Premier League, and yeah, we need to improve our football at home or try something different. 100%. So but it's not panic stations for me, because I knew this would be a slow rebuild, and I also think that part of the problem is chemistry and wavelengths and trusting and understanding each other. Think about like Sonny and Kane, right? When we used to, people always say, Harry Kane and Sonny, they papered over the cracks at Tottenham for a decade. But how much of their chemistry was. It's not just about the brilliance of one player, right? They understood each other's games. They knew when the ball got rammed into Harry Kane Harry Kane was on the half turn, on the halfway line. Harry Kane didn't have to look. He would know exactly what Sonny was doing. And Sonny didn't have to wait or worry. He knew where the ball was going to be placed, right? They understood each other. These guys haven't been playing together very long. Like Xavi hasn't been playing with Kudus for more than a couple of months, right? And we don't have that much time on the training ground. When you're playing 2 games a week, you don't have much time to practice these things. So you've got to figure it out on the pitch. Most of these players haven't been playing very long together. I agree with you about the inability to hold a player up, hold the ball up at the top end, because if you're winning the ball back in your own D and then you're looking for Kudus straight away, and Kudus is one of your fastest players who takes the player on, how do you get those players that are behind the ball to be in the box by the time the ball gets there? Right? It's an impossibility. It's just physically not possible. So there's a lot of, I think, easy wins. But the January window has to be very impressive for us to have a decent second half of the season.
Look, when you look at the fact, as John George has mentioned in the comments there, Richarlison, Johnson, Tell, Odegaard and Solanke cost 230 million. Yeah? I mean, as Tim Sherwood said, I think it was yesterday or the day before, Spurs have wasted a lot of players. And I was on a stream the other day and someone said, well, if you can't get Semenyo, just get someone else in. But that's where Spurs have been going wrong. I don't want someone else. I mean, what I mean by that is I don't want, he will do. No. If you can't get top players, sign nobody. I don't want, you need top players. I would rather sign 2 top players in a window than sign 4 or 5 okay players, because what we've got now is a squad of okay players. And the news that apparently that Udogie and Kuti will be missing for Newcastle and Everton is
really
it's terrible news. It's terrible news. We all know it's terrible news, and so
not sure how long they're out for, but it won't be long.
It's minor.
A minor. Yeah.
They'll be out for a while. I mean, Udogie, I think, will definitely be out for a while.
Has he got? Is he a hamstring or a thigh? What's wrong with him?
I don't know. How much was Udogie in the window? I think it was 15, wasn't it? 15. Yeah. Right now, I thought he was a bargain, but he's only a bargain if he's playing week in and week out. Let's move on to some of the other games, Sean, because let's be honest, like the other games in the Champions League, the English clubs were exceptionally good. I mean, I was watching the Arsenal game and it looked like Atletico, Simeone was doing the usual Simeone, holding them out. I took my eye off of it for 10 minutes. The next minute I looked, it was 4-0.
Yeah.
And interesting that the one player that looked to be being forced out the club due to the signing of Eze and Noni, Martinelli, he has been spurred on by those signings.
He's been incredible. This season he's been really, really good, hasn't he?
Raised his game to another dimension. He's the guy that broke in to that Arsenal team that looked so exciting every time he got hold of the ball. And they've got competition. They've got mass competition for places. And that is the difference. Their strength in depth, Sean, at Arsenal
is insane.
It's just insane. Even if they lost the entire back four.
Yeah, they could have like a lasagna gate thing go through half their squad and they'd still be able to put out a top team, wouldn't they?
Yeah. And I mean, I like the way Gyökeres was celebrating his goal. I mean, both goals were like embarrassing. One come off of his groin.
Old 3-ball.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't great goals. They weren't. But
at the end of the day, mate, by hook or by crook, right? You score. Score them, you score them. Let me just quickly press pause for 1 second, Johnny, and do the super stickers. We've got Dino Houdini. Great to see you at Villa, mate, before the game. And was it before the game or after the game? Before the game, wasn't it? Great to see you, mate. Great to meet your friends as well. Appreciate you very much. Let's get that super sticker trait to you. We've also got one from James as well. Big up to you, James. Another super sticker. Choo to you, James. Let us know where we're picking you up from, my man. We'll send the train over and we'll get you on board Thomas Frank Junction we've got to be a little bit patient. We've got to be a little bit patient with this guy, I hope. But it doesn't surprise me that the fans are doing their thing because the fans are going to fan, I guess. In terms of Arsenal, Johnny, they were made light work of it, didn't they? In the end, it was pretty. But this is the thing against an Atletico Madrid when they do the low block, if they can hold you out, hold out, and then go and do a sucker punch, go and get 1-0 up, then that's their MO, isn't it? But when they go 1-0 down, then they have to come out and play, and then their team isn't quite set up to do it that way round. And so when they go 1-0 up, and you go 2-0 up, and after that, it's a different.
Well, I mean, when you see
great club though, great.
Yeah, when you saw how Atletico Madrid battled back against Liverpool at home, and came back into the game, and it was only a late goal, the late Liverpool show as usual, which won it. One would think that this would be a bit of a tough game for Arsenal, and it was. They struggled to break them down for a bit, but in the end they just steamrolled them. One team who were just unbelievable. They were just such a beauty to watch. Was Barcelona. Fermin Lopez. I mean, all of their strikes were just like sublime. All of them. With
Rashford as well, getting a couple of goals.
2 very nice goals. Lovely
goals, mate. He's creating a different level highlight reel this season. A couple of his goals, like 6 or 7 of his goals for Barcelona have been absolutely dreams.
But do you not think? Yeah, I mean, I think when you're playing for Man United, you're waiting for one player constantly to do it. You're waiting for Bruno Fernandes to slip you in or create the space. But when you're playing with Barcelona and you got Fermin Lopez, you got Lamine Yamal, and you've got all of those players, I think there's just more room and more space. But saying that, the finish, his 2 finishes were absolutely fantastic. And Hansi Flick just says that he's only going to get better, and you can certainly believe that. Did you watch the best goals though of the night? Were definitely the goals by Leverkusen versus PSG. I mean,
sorry, Leverkusen, but PSG. Sorry, Leverkusen, PSG. I haven't seen the Leverkusen game.
Yeah, Desiree Doué's 2 goals, unbelievable. Cavazia, right, unbelievable. I mean, the Nuno Mendes, Dembele. I mean, it was like a goal fest. And just when you thought that they're out of it, what's his name? Is it? I think it was Alex Garcia scored a goal. Like, he just hit it, bang. Keeper had no chance. But it was like, and you could see the fans, even as a great goal it was, you just knew that it wasn't going to make any difference to Bayer Leverkusen. But winning 7-2, and like I saw somebody saying, but Leverkusen had a player sent off. So did PSG. Zabani got 1 yellow and 1 red.
What happens in that world? Do you get banned for like 5 games or something? How many? You get an extra banning, or does it matter?
He got a yellow. In my opinion, should have got another yellow. Got away with it, and then got a red for pulling back. I can't remember who it was. He pulled back, but they did well. I think
super quick. Mrs. Marple, big up to you. I think she's got a picture of you, Johnny, by the way, in the in her icon. If you can zoom in there, you can see that's you, I think, with Mrs. Marple there.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. I recognise that hat, that shirt, and that bag around your thing. Anyway, Mrs. Marple, you're talking about the Tottenham badge. You're saying that the head of the cockerel's cut off. It isn't. It's level at the top with Brentford and Arsenal and Newcastle. I don't know what we're doing there. It is definitely Mrs. Marple's.
Yes,
she knows me and Johnny.
I remember that picture, Mrs. Marple. That was at the screening of the PSG game, I believe. If I remember rightly. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about Newcastle United, mate, shall we? I mean, gee whiz, that was a brilliant game for them, wasn't it? Against
Anthony Gordon on fire, mate. Absolutely on fire.
Such a classy player, mate. He would be, if anyone's £100 million player that no one talks about, is him, surely.
Well, he's the player.
He can play off the right, he can play off the left, he can cut in, he can go outside, he can shoot with both feet.
I wanted, mate.
He's fierce, he's brave. tenacity is unbelievable. His work rate is off the clock. He could play as an 8 if you needed him.
Would you have taken him over Brennan Johnson? Obviously, 100%. Because we both know when Everton came to White Hart Lane or to Tottenham, and they were absolutely played off the pitch.
Oh, yeah, 5-0, yeah.
Andy Gordon was chasing everything down like his life depended on it. He was unbelievable. For a team that's getting smashed to bits, for one of their players to stand out as, as a beacon, and he's doing it. And I've got to say, Harvey Barnes' 2 goals were fantastic.
Lovely.
If anyone else had scored those goals, there would have been, everyone would have been waxing lyrical. I think.
Am I right? Did I dream this or did I not? So that goal that Newcastle scored from Alex Pope's unbelievable long range throw that covered 55 meters. Did Vicario try something similar in the first 5 or 10 minutes last night? Did he do a look? Did he launch the ball? I think he actually it didn't. Nothing materialised, but I don't think he gave the ball away. Unless I dreamt that, part of my delusional kind of sickness bugs. I don't know what's going on, but I'm pretty sure I saw Vicario try something like that.
For anyone who's looking for stats, Spurs have launched the 4th most long balls in the Premier League this season. trying to bypass our midfield for our stunning attack. They said about that, the better. Well, probably the biggest shock of the tournament, of the round, probably was PSV 6, Napoli 2. That was definitely one. I don't think the PSV fans couldn't believe it. I mean, every time the goal went in, you saw people like this. They're like fans running around. Couldn't believe it. I think Scott McTominay, as usual, got his usual couple. I mean, he's how he's gone from Man United to become like a superstar out there. But what's really weird is that Conte's doing what Conte does, Sean. He's saying, be buckled down for what's going to be a terrible window, could be a terrible season due to the board's inability to get the players in that he wanted.
Everywhere he goes, mate. Everywhere he goes, and by the way, before I remember doing an investigation, like an expose, when he said what he said about our board, or when he said about our club, basically. I was looking back, going, is this his common thing with him? And I'm pretty sure he was at Como. I'm pretty sure wherever he was, like the 3 clubs before, he demanded more money, and he fucked off into the sunset to move on to his next thing. And about 3/4 of the clubs that he was at beforehand went into financial absolute dire straits because of him putting the pressure on the money men to find money that the clubs weren't generating. And then he pisses off to his next venture and leaves them right up Shit's Creek. And he's going to do it again at Napoli, isn't he?
Yeah, he's going to throw his toys out. You just know it. He nearly did it in the summer. But, instead of owning the 6-2 defeat, he's blaming others already, never knowing he blamed himself. Actually, someone in the chat is asking, Sean, who would you say at the moment are, the top 5 teams in the Champions League? Would you say as it stands? I'll
pick one, then you pick one. Then I'll pick one, then you pick one. I'll go first. My favourite for the tournament is Bayern Munich.
Right, Barcelona.
Okay, PSG.
Real Madrid.
Okay, now then it starts to get a bit interesting, doesn't it?
We'll have one each.
I don't want to say this, mate. I don't want to say it out loud. I don't think they're going to do it, but I think they'll get to the semi-final again after Arsenal.
Okay, I would have said Arsenal.
Liverpool?
No, I'm going to go into Milan. Into Milan. Yeah.
Into Milan. Fair enough. Who's your sort of dark horse though? You got a dark horse team?
Dark horse. Chelsea.
Yeah?
Yeah. How dark are we going?
Deepest, darkest Peru.
That's dark arts, mate. That's dark arts.
Dortmund look a little bit.
They look very good as well. They look very good as well. Bellingham's. They managed to get Bellingham's parents out the dressing room, and now he's finally playing a bit.
A picture of the dad like hanging on to the ball. I'm not going.
Get me in. But you're not part of it.
Yeah.
Who cares? He's my boy. He's my boy. Listen,
quick super chat, and we'll move on, mate. Quick super chat. Super Spurs. To be up to you, Blainsky. I've missed you, mate. Great to catch up with you on Sunday. Spent most of the afternoon with Blaino before Blaino went home and I went out, and that was the start of my downfall. Blaine, Super Spurs says gifted 5 Football Inc. memberships. They're going to have to start doing some members phoning shows, mate, about this sort of thing. I think that's the next one. So many members that have been gifted over the last few weeks and months. Thank you so much, Blaine. If you were a recipient of one of those 5 memberships, then please do tell Blaine, say thank you to Blaine, what a legend he is. And he's also letting us everyone know there's over 300 people here. There's been about 370, I think, at peak. Please don't forget to smash that like button. It costs you nothing. He's absolutely bang on the money there, as always. Please smash the like, smash the subscribe as well if you haven't already. Let's see. Top 5 from Jordan is Bayern, PSG, Arsenal, Barca, and Tottenham.
Yeah, Jordan. Whatever the medication you're on.
Do you see Tottenham getting any chance of getting into the top 8?
No, playoffs. We need 13 points, or 11 or 13 points. I think
12 points get to the playoff. I think.
Yeah, something like that. I think the big tie of Tuesday was definitely Karat versus Paphos in that brilliant 0-0 draw. I didn't even see the highlights. I don't think they even presented them.
There wasn't any.
Can they believe they got there? Can they believe they got there?
Or the lights,
Yeah. Bayern Munich. We thought Club Brugge would do okay.
Well, Bruges at home is a place you don't want to go and a team you don't want to play against. But Bruges away in Bayern Munich, mate. When Bayern Munich doing what Bayern Munich do, I mean, they're second in the league, 9 from 9. They've scored 12 goals. Only PSG has scored more. Only conceded 2 goals. Do you know Inter Milan haven't conceded a goal, and neither have Arsenal in the Champions League yet this season. Quite incredible. But mate, I wanted to talk to you quickly about this Bayern Munich game. The kid, the 17-year-old Lennart Karl. Did you see the goal?
I haven't seen the goal. I saw Luis Diaz's goal. Just to say, Diaz, talk about settling in. Diaz and Harry Kane didn't need
acclimation processes.
Didn't need any acclimation. Straight in, bang, like they've been playing there all their lives. Sorry, no, I didn't see the goal.
So he's 17 years old, right? He's only just turned 17. He's a tiny little fella. He must be like 5'6" or something. And he gets the ball. It's his 5th minute into his Champions League debut. I'm pretty sure he played against us in the friendly when we got absolutely spanked.
That's what I said. He came on, didn't he?
Yeah, and he scored a goal. I think he scored a goal as well in that game. But I think he did anyway. But so he's a tiny fella, absolutely tiny fella. Just gets the ball. First thought, he gets back to goal, turns, drives forward against the Bruges number 6. Jinks in, jinks out, puts it round it, and then bangs it top bins. Absolutely phenomenal. And he does the greatest knee slide into like a 6-meter knee slide as well for a little fella. I don't know where you get that momentum from, but he looks like a real talent. He looks like a real player, that one. Wowzers.
Yeah. Anyone in the chat remembers trying to replicate a knee slide on a Sunday morning football and ended up in the hospital with a twisted knee, or doing a knee slide and landed on a bottle from somebody's drink on the weekend? Yeah.
Yeah. What happened? Is that, would you get kicked in the shin? No, that lump. Yeah, what happened? Oh, that's my kneecap. Then my kneecap got put there.
A kneecap that's now in my foot.
6 inches lower.
Oh dear. Liverpool, interesting. Liverpool, Eintracht Frankfurt took the lead, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, here we go again. Are Liverpool going to, fall foul to it? But no, they didn't. Ekitike getting one back, Virgil. But the bad news is Alexander Isak had to go off at half time, and he looks like he's got a groin strain. Let's put it like this, right? Liverpool has spent £30 million almost or what will they spend? 250 million, should we say, on Florian Wirtz and Alexander Isak.
Yeah.
And they've got one goal.
We spent that. Yeah. Well, this is the thing. I wasn't sure which way you were going to go with it. I thought you were going to choose the look what you can get with 250 million pounds if you put it on two players. And I thought you were going to compare it to that list of players.
No, what I'm saying is spending.
They haven't really had any output, have they? Yet they haven't really had the output.
Fans always say if you don't spend the money, you won't do anything. But as we've seen with Manchester United, countless millions, tens of millions spent on wasted talent that they can't give away. And what we're seeing now with Liverpool, with the amount of money they've spent, and yet, they didn't buy a defender and they're not really firing an attack. Doesn't always work. Florian Wirtz, as we said, seemed to be the German version of Florian Wirtz last night, being back in Germany. Let's see what happens when he's away. I think they're at Brentford away on the weekend. Let's see what version of Florian Wirtz turns up then. But
this is the thing, though, mate. Like, so you look at Manchester United. Okay, park the Liverpool game for a second, and just realise that they've only got one game a week, and they bought all these players in the summer, but they do have enough time on the training ground to be able to try things out, to figure things out, to get to know each other, to be able to work on wavelength and chemistry, which
United,
I do think is super important. Yeah, United.
Yeah.
And then you compare that to teams that don't have that luxury, that have to, especially in the Champions League, right? Because it's different if you're playing in like the Conference League, and you might have the Arsenal game on the Sunday, and you might have Everton away on the following weekend. But in the midweek game, you've got a game against some Bulgarian outfit at home, right? So you should be able to not necessarily spend too much of your week focusing on the review, the analysis of that particular game.
Yeah.
But if you're like a Tottenham right now, and again, and the same with Liverpool, I'm not making it about Tottenham specifically, but is that is there a reason, a catalyst there for people to be a little bit more tolerant of the patience that's required for a new manager who's bringing in new players, some of whom haven't played in the UK before, acclimation to a new culture, a new climate, a new language in some certain circumstances, and the fact that these guys haven't, when you're reshaping your entire front four, which Liverpool have done, which Tottenham are doing, which United have done, the main difference being that there's not a lot of time on the training ground to do that, right? So Tottenham played away in Monaco yesterday. Today they'll have a day off, right? They'll got home, they'll have a day off. They'll get back on the training ground probably tomorrow. And then they've got to travel to Everton on Saturday evening, I'd imagine, right? Or Saturday. So you get one day to practice, to go through the entire analysis, the game state, the tactic. When do you find the time to be able to figure out, okay, the 4-2-3-1 maybe isn't working. Shall we go to a back three? Or shall we go to a 4-2-2-2? Or shall we change up, and where do you find the time when you have such a busy schedule? And is that, like, I think the answer, I'll let you speak, but the answer to me would be you can't. Therefore, it's going to be micro improvements. It's not going to be a quick shift. It's going to be little bit, whenever you can find the quick, cheeky hour, that's when you sort of just drop it in. But it will take a lot more time to be able to figure these things out than it would do under a different environment.
I mean, look at Arne Slot. He lost 4 games on the trot. Could you imagine if Thomas Frank lost 4 games on the trot? This is Arne Slot, who's played in Europe for many years. He's never lost 4 on the trot in his whole managerial career.
Right.
And then you look at someone like Thomas Frank, who is not only is he getting new players in at the death, Mawani at the depth of the window, Simmons at the depth of the window. He's a manager that's never even played in the Champions League before. He's never managed in the Champions League before. So not only is it acclimatization for the players into the club, it's acclimatization for him into European football, which he hasn't experienced before. So, yeah, I think Manchester United, I've said this at the beginning of the season, they have a massive advantage with the type of players that they bought, that they can work for the entire week on the game ahead. For example, I mean, they're going to be playing, they're not in the Carabao Cup, so they won't be playing in that, okay?
Yep.
They're not playing in Europe.
Yeah, they're down to 2 competitions, and one of them doesn't start until January.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
There's no excuses, really, is there, for Amorim this year?
No, none at all. And, when Spurs come to play Man United, they will be very, very fresh. They will have the whole week to work on the game. I don't know who we play in the week up to that, but same for Liverpool. There are players that need to be integrated, and they haven't integrated particularly well. I do think they're missing Diaz. I think Ekitike is probably the one player that's blended in. Him and Walter probably have been the best acclimatized players in the Premier League, especially from German football anyway. But we shall see with that one how they go.
Voltemade for a second, like Newcastle United, they're a team that I have to. I mean, I've always loved Newcastle. Just like if I didn't have Tottenham as my team, Newcastle would have probably been the team, because I just love this. I remember the Tamuri Ketspire, that sort of ilk in the 90s or whatever. You got to give Eddie Howe some credit, right? He's had a massively disruptive transfer window, hugely problematic situation with Isak. They figured it out. They got their money. They went and bought a player like Voltemade, paid quite a lot of money for him. He seems to have hit the ground running, like you say. He's really acclimated and just jumped in. The Newcastle fans have taken to him immediately very well. They're still going through the kind of ups and downs, the volatility, getting beaten by Brighton last weekend.
Yeah,
and then then putting in that home performance. They got a game against Fulham on the weekend at home, and then they played Tottenham at home in the Carabao Cup. Newcastle looking pretty strong and looking pretty impressive right now, Johnny.
Yeah, they are. And, add that to, a firing Harvey Barnes, a firing Anthony Gordon, Tonali in the middle of the pill, Guimaraes, all looking good. And then add into the mix when he comes in, Visser, that's going to be a very potent, powerful attacking force. Spurs
how far away is Visser from being fit? Do we know?
Probably after the next break, I think I heard. But Spurs are going there. They made the game on a Tuesday night in Newcastle for an away fans, right?
Is it Wednesday, isn't it? Are you going to the game, by the way?
Yeah, sorry, Wednesday. No, I'm actually in Edinburgh for a meeting, so I'm not actually going to be able to go, unfortunately. I would like to have gone from Edinburgh, but my meeting's in Edinburgh on that night, so can't do it. But look, they're looking good, and I got to be honest with you. I think Chelsea. I thought Chelsea would struggle after the World Club Cup and winning that tournament, and basically, having no pre-season. The pre-season is this, but I thought it would catch up with them, injuries, and it might still do it, but they're finding a way, Sean, even with all the centre-back injuries.
They don't get the ball away, mate. When they get the ball, they got a 90 against Ajax. I know that Ajax were down to 10 men early, but they had a 96% pass accuracy across the entire game. And I'm pretty sure that was like 600 passes. Like what are we like if you don't give the ball away, and this is why Caicedo is just like an absolute phenom. And he gets more praise than the average DM does. But like his ability to read the game and just interpret, anticipate, and intercept, and then feed it back ferociously fast and quick into the channel. The other team doesn't get a chance to really reset. He's also got a ping on him. Lovely goal that he was a deflection, obviously. But Chelsea just look like they're they don't give away the ball, and so if you're not giving away the ball very often, then you're going to be okay, aren't you?
When they got that midfield of Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, and I absolutely love Estavo. All right, Estavo, who scored again. I know it was a penalty.
Lovely as well, though. Lovely.
Yeah. Actually, just to go back, something funny. The Newcastle game was Weghorst when he went to take the penalty. The Newcastle fans saying you're just a shit Andy Carroll. I thought it was very a very funny moment. And it's the banter of football. Look, Chelsea looked very, very good. We saw the other day against against Forest, when they had the entire midfield missing, more or less, and the centre-backs, they still managed to run out a 3-0 victory. Now they're coming back. They're going to be a tough beat. and I hate to think what they're going to do to us.
Yeah. At the moment, it's not. We're at home though, aren't we? Yeah, we aren't. Yeah. So.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, that's real. That's a proper endorsement.
Yeah, exactly. Mate, let's. I think we covered off most of the Champions League games. The other games, we like the sort of European teams, whatever. Let's. In the interest of time, mate. Nottingham Forest. They have old Shawnee Dyche. Oh, hello, mate. Hello, mate. He's like the English Ange in sound, in accent, and in look, but he's not the Ange. He's not the English Ange in the way he plays. They're playing tonight. Baptism of fire. Is it Sean Dyche's first game in Europe against Porto?
Yeah,
how do you see that one going? It'll be an interesting game.
One of my players that I'd love Spurs to sign is playing tonight for Porto, Agahawa.
Oh right? Agahawa,
yeah. So if you don't know who he is, tune into that. Probably have a stinker now. But I actually love Sean Dyche's press conference where they were commenting. They were commenting about my shoes, right? And he goes, what does he say? Did he say Jimmy? Not Jimmy Choos. I can't remember his. It will come to me. A brand.
Great story, Johnny. Great story.
You know, he's going on about his brand, and then when he finished, when he said the brand of his trainers, he started sniffing. I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was about. I think it was obviously a reference the people taking the piss out of his trainers, but it seemed to be clipped and highlighted by many Blazers and a couple of other channels. So it was quite funny. Listen,
I'll do all right tonight.
Listen, I think it's the wrong. I like Sean Dyche, but for me,
manager bounce, mate. I think they'll be okay.
Listen, for me, I would have gone for Marco Silva. I think he would have loved that squad, but he'll like Igor Jesus.
The Fulham owners, as soon as they knew that Ange was getting sacked, the Fulham owners turned around and said, "Do you want a new contract?" To Marco Silva, and Marco Silva was like, "Yeah, okay." They haven't figured it out yet, but there's intention to do it. So he seems very happy in West London, mate. He's got a nice little gig there, I think. Not too much expectation, just float around somewhere between 8th and 14th, and you're fine.
Get a few mil. Get a few mil.
Get a few mil.
Be on TV every week. Can't be that bad. It can't be that bad. What was I going to say? There was, let me just see. There was some, what was a briefing today? Where was we? Tamori, who I thought might be of interest to players, is now angling for a new contract, and AC Milan look like they're going to give it to him. And Julian Alvarez says he's not impressed with the Atletico Madrid project that he was sold when he left Manchester City. A bit of a boob, and he will now be looking to make a move in the summer. How much? How much do you think? How much do you think Atletico Madrid have said they want? I mean, it's rubbish, but what sort of number do you think? Think of something stupid.
Is it that stupid? I don't know. 150 million.
200 million euros. Yeah, absolutely not. 200 million euros.
How old is he now?
I don't know, it must be about 26.
Let's have a look.
26. Antoine Semenyo has told his agents that he only wants to join Liverpool.
Who said that?
Florian Wirtz.
What?
Not Florian Wirtz, Anton Semenyo, sorry.
He only wants to join Liverpool.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently he only wants
to. What we're up against, mate. So when you said earlier, if you can't get Semenyo, what we're sticking with Tell and Odebear, are we, for the left wing?
No.
There's 4 or 5 other wingers out there. You take Malik Fofana if you could get him, and I think you could, because I think that Lyon are absolutely
Yildiz.
Keenan Yildiz, you take him whether he wants to leave Juve or not. Otherwise, I don't know. Yeah. But you take either of those two,
and you take Lookman.
And you take it. I'd still take Adamola Lookman 100%. I'd also take that Iliman Ndiaye from Everton, but I don't know if he would want to leave. But I
can't believe he used to play for Boreham Wood, mate. Down the road. Yeah.
You used to play for Boreham Wood. Really?
Boreham Wood, Sheffield United. Yeah. Look at his backstory. But there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you can come through. Endrick, that's going to be an interesting one. He can't get a game for Real Madrid. He was meant to be the next great Brazilian hope for Real Madrid. Be interesting to see where he goes. In January, I think he's going to need to go in January. Spurs have been big with him.
I mean, how motivated are players? I mean, I guess it is the World Cup here, right? Because Endrick will get into the Brazilian team, wouldn't he?
Well, not if he's not playing, Sean.
Well, no, if Richarlison's keeping Endrick out of the Brazilian team, then we got a problem in Brazil, haven't we?
No, I don't know. I mean, listen, if he carries on playing like this, you know, he wouldn't get into the over 50s team right now, the way he's playing. Arsenal have actually broken 2 records on the weekend, by the way, yesterday. They have now won 7 matches in a row against Spanish opposition, and no team has ever done that before in the Champions League. That seems a weird stat, isn't it?
Beaten 7 Spanish teams on the bounce.
Yeah. No team has ever done that in the Champions League. I suppose you including
drawn against, isn't it? Like, you know, is it that impressive if Real Madrid and Barcelona aren't included in?
I think they're included once. I think they're included in that once, aren't they?
Are they? Oh yeah, Arsenal did beat Real Madrid, didn't they, in the quarterfinals? Yeah, of course. Yeah.
They did get a better XG though than PSG, didn't they? Was it?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And Arsenal have conceded 3 goals this season. 3 goals. That's their best defensive record after 12 games in their entire history.
What? Wow.
3 goals in 12 games. We need for Arsenal to falter, they're going to need to lose Saliba and Gabriel. Can't see that happening.
They've got some really cracking players waiting in the wings anyway, though, haven't they? That's the problem.
Yeah. Hincapié hasn't even played yet.
Games. Oh, Jesus Christ. He drives you out the wall. Who beat Arsenal? Who was the team that beat them?
Manchester City. Liverpool. Yeah, Man City drew, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, listen, I'm confident when we go there with half our players missing that Spurs will give them a good game.
Sean, have you ever been to stadiums in League One or League Two? I've been to MK Dons.
Reading.
I've been to Reading. I've been to the old Southend Stadium. What's Southend called? Southend Stadium.
I've been to Tranmere. I've been to Coventry. They were in League One.
Roots Hall. I've been to Roots Hall a few times.
I've been to Boreham Wood. I've been to Barnet.
I've been to Boreham Wood with you. Didn't we go and watch the Arsenal Tottenham under-21 game?
Yeah. Barnet. Barnet. Burnley.
I think I might have been to Brentford back in the day when Brentford were in League One as well. Way back in the day.
I'll tell you what, I am very much looking forward to. Well, not the game, but I'm looking forward to going to the whatever Dickinson was it? The John Dickinson Stadium. On
you're going there on Sunday, are you?
Yeah, I'm going on Sunday. I'm going on a coach.
You're applying for punishment, mate. You are. You're going on the no phones coach as well.
No, I'm not going on the no phones coach, but I'm on a coach. Who knows what's in it? I just couldn't face driving. I did the Leeds away, which was a good game, but it was like 7 hours driving, and on the way back, the last hour and a half was like I was losing the will to live. So I thought I'd hop on the coach. And have a kit.
Yeah, but the coach drops you off somewhere right by your house, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't, unfortunately. It drops me off in Palmer's Green, which is about 40 minutes. So we're going to have 40...
What time have you got to get to Palmer's Green in the morning?
I'm not sure. So I've got about 35 minutes, 40 minutes to Palmer's Green, then a 4-hour coach there, 4-hour coach back, and then a 40-minute. And then people will call me, "You're not a proper supporter." That'll be Monday morning.
Yeah, well, that's the way it goes, my man. That's the way it goes. Listen, Johnny, we have to round it off very soon, mate. I've got to go.
No worries, Gab. No worries. And listen, guys, tomorrow we'll do the predictions. It was Tom Ford, his trainers. Thanks, David King in the chat. Sean Dyche's Tom Ford trainers that they were taking the piss out of. Watch the clip; it's very funny. And tomorrow, Sean, we'll do the predictions. We'll go through the predictions of the weekend because, as I said, Sean not being well.
Think Blaine did very well. I think I did very well. I'm not sure how well you did.
And I think I did very badly. But that's another story. It's early doors. It's early doors. Okay.
Yeah, it's not that early anymore, mate.
Frankly,
we're kind of like it's brunch. It's brunch in the season right now.
It's a sprint. It's a marathon.
That's true. That's true.
It's great, Bill Shanks. Guys,
if you are interested at 6:45 in half an hour, I'm back on the Spurs talk show with Billy T and with Jacko Katz from Twitter. Johnny, you're more than welcome to join if you fancy. And then at 8 o'clock, we're over on the Spurs 5. So I've gone from having 4 or 5 days out to doing like 6 hours on the bounce, like a proper.
You need another lie down by tomorrow.
But yeah, appreciate everyone. Thank you so much for the super chats. Big up to you, Blaine, as always, my man, James and Houdini. Appreciate you, boys and girls. Please do smash the like button, hit the subscribe if you haven't already, notification bell buttons, and also please get over to the podcast and give us a 5-star rating over there. Johnny, get over to Insta's Talking Tottenham 1882 on TikTok and on Insta, and then Johnny H3232 on Twitter as well. And by the way, if you're interested in conspiracy theories, then also there's another the fifth channel in the Butler repertoire is the Rabbit Hole Ramblings. If you're interested in that, then get over to that stuff. No football, just conspiracy. There you go. Someone's asking, when's the next conspiracy show? Be this weekend.
For those of you idiots who keep thinking the world is round, get on down to the rabbit hole.
There's flat earthers all over the globe, all around the world.
I think half of the Spurs fan base are flat earthers.
Yeah.
Honestly,
guys. I'm not a flat earther, by the way, but I'm open-minded. I'm not married to anything that the science tells us. So we'll figure it out.
The world is definitely round, okay, and it's full of atmosphere. But the atmosphere is being drained out of the Tottenham fan base as we speak. Guys, if you're here and you haven't hit the subscribe button, because loads of you watch but don't hit subscribe, hit that subscribe button. It doesn't hurt and it doesn't cost you anything. And on your way out, good housekeeping. But when you put your shoes back on, hit the like button. And thanks very much, guys. And we will see you tomorrow. And if you are a Spurs fan and you want to watch us, we'll put your Sean on his show in half an hour, or the Spurs 5 tonight, 8 o'clock. So it's goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from that guy.